Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Everything Within podcast. I'm your host, Alina Krasnojon. This podcast is all about empowering you to build an extraordinary, fulfilling life and tap into the limitless potential that resides within you. Thank you for tuning in today. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that is both deeply personal and surprisingly universal: the psychology of style, and how what seems like innocent retail therapy can mask something much deeper. You know that rush of excitement when you click buy now, that flutter of anticipation when you're walking out of a store with shopping bags? For years I chased that feeling, thinking it would fill a void I couldn't quite name. But my story with shopping starts long before I became an adult with a debit card. Picture Ukraine in the 1990s, right after the Soviet Union collapsed. I was a little girl watching my parents struggle to put food on a table, where new clothes were an unthinkable luxury. In school, I was watching other kids walk by with the things I couldn't have. Each no from my parents when I asked for something new was a reminder of our circumstances, a reminder that I couldn't have most of the things I wanted, and it wasn't my parents' fault. Fast forward to my adult life in France. Suddenly, I had a salary, even though it was a modest one, but in comparison to what I grew up with, it felt like unlimited possibility. Every store window displaying clothes or shoes was a reminder of the things I had been denied as a child. And without even realizing it, I started filling bags with more than just clothes. I was trying to fill that little girl's sense of lack, that sense of not enough that had followed me across borders. In today's episode, we're going to unpack not just my story, but the complex relationship many of us have with shopping and style. We'll explore how shopping addiction often masks deeper needs for identity and belonging, especially when we find ourselves in new countries or situations that drain us or numb our souls. We will look at how social media and influencer culture amplifies these tendencies, making us overcompensate through consumption. But more importantly, we will talk about how to convert mindless consumption into intentional self-expression, how to build a wardrobe that truly reflects who you are, not who you're trying to be or are running from. And we will discuss why that outfit you bought when you were truly happy feels so different from the one you bought to numb a bad day. This episode will be more than just about clothes and shopping. It will be about understanding ourselves better, about breaking free from patterns that no longer serve us, and about finding authentic ways to express who we are without using consumption as an emotional crutch. Let's begin. So what shopping addiction really looks like? Because it's not always maxed out credit cards or rooms full of shopping bags. Sometimes it's subtler, more insidious. It's the instinct to open a shopping app the moment you feel sadness or anxiety. It's having a closet so full you can barely close it, yet still feeling like you have nothing to wear. It's the constant cycle of buying brief joy and needing more. While American culture has normalized shopping on credit, living beyond our means to maintain an image, this pattern shows up differently across cultures. In Europe, where credit card debt isn't as common, the addiction manifests in other ways: in constant sales hunting, in fast fashion overconsumption, in the endless pursuit of the next good deal. I remember my own descent into this pattern so clearly. When I first moved to France, every purchase felt like a victory. Coming from Ukraine, where my childhood was marked by scarcity, where new clothes were an unthinkable luxury, suddenly having access to affordable fast fashion felt intoxicating. Each purchase was like a small rebellion against my past, a way to prove to myself that I made it and that now I can buy anything I want. When I started my business back in 2020, facing daily uncertainty and anxiety about the future, online shopping became my emotional escape. Late at night, I was scrolling through AliExpress or other fast fashion websites and adding items to my cart. I was trying to find a momentary relief from the overwhelming pressure of entrepreneurship. Most of those impulse purchases ended up in the trash. Poor quality fast fashion items that didn't fit right, cheap materials that fell apart after one wash. I was literally throwing money away in an attempt to feel better, to feel a relief, and distract myself from my unhelpful thoughts and constant background anxiety that came with trying to build my brand new business. We all have emotional voids inside of us. These empty spaces within us can come from various sources. Childhood experience of lack, the insane pace of modern life that leaves us feeling disconnected, or a simple human need for comfort in an increasingly uncertain world. Shopping becomes a quick fix, a band-aid over these deeper wounds. When was the last time you really felt your feelings instead of distracting yourself using shopping, social media, or even socializing with others? We live in a culture that encourages disconnection from our bodies, our emotions, our true needs. We're running on autopilot day after day and often end up buying an enormous quantity of useless stuff. And social media is a perfect amplifier for these tendencies. Now every scroll through our feed is a carefully curated attempt to separate us from our money. The moment you glance at a product online, it follows you everywhere: your Instagram feed, your Facebook sidebar, your Google searches. It's digital harassment dressed up as convenience. What makes this especially treacherous is the role of influencers. These seemingly relatable figures present themselves as friends, confidants, advisors. They're not just selling products, they're selling lifestyle, promises, dreams, and often they're pushing products they've never truly used, creating artificial needs in their followers' lives for a paycheck. Every purchase triggers a dopamine release in your brain, that feel-good neurotransmitter that makes you feel like you've accomplished something meaningful. It's the same chemical involved in the other addictive behaviors. You buy something, you get a hit of pleasure, but it's fleeting. And just like any addiction, you need more and more to get the same effect. This temporary high is what makes shopping addiction so challenging to break. Your brain learns to associate purchasing with pleasure, creating a neural pathway that triggers every time you feel low. It's a perfect storm. Emotional void meets easy access to shopping, meets constant digital temptation. But understanding this cycle is the first step in breaking it. And that's what we're going to explore next. How to recognize when we're shopping our feelings away. How to find healthier ways to meet our emotional needs. There is the profound difference between buying something you truly love and buying something just to fill a void. When you make a meaningful purchase, one that aligns with who you are, it feels different. These pieces become part of your story, an extension of who you are, not just items taking up space in your closet. When you buy something intentionally, considering its quality, its origin, how it makes you feel, that item tends to stay with you. It becomes a cherished part of your wardrobe, something you reach for again and again. And increasingly, these thoughtful purchases often end up being more sustainable, both for your wallet and the planet. Let me share a story of two sides of my own wardrobe. The first side is where I have pieces I bought from Ukrainian designers during my last visit there. They weren't cheap and they weren't on sale, but every time I wear them, I feel completely myself. The quality is impeccable, the design is unique, and it carries a piece of my heritage with it. Some of my most treasured pieces actually came from secondhand shops. Unique, high-quality items that tell their own stories. These finds are like little victories, providing that style that doesn't have to come at the cost of sustainability or authenticity or cost you hundreds of dollars. But then there is the other side of my closet, the items that whisper of my past emotional impulses. Pieces from fast fashion sales that still have their tags on. Clothes from my early 20s that no longer reflect who I am. Every time I try to clear them out, something holds me back. I tell myself, maybe one day, but that day never comes. Meanwhile, these items take up physical and emotional space, cluttering not just my wardrobe, but my peace of mind. And this pattern, it extends far beyond clothing. Let's talk about jewelry for a moment. The pieces I cherish the most aren't necessarily the most expensive. They are the ones I picked up during travels at special events, pieces that carry memories. Each one tells a story. But then there are the impulse bought pieces as well, the ones that seemed like a good idea during a sale, soulless accessories that never quite found their place in my life. With shoes, the lesson was similar. I used to pride myself for finding deals during sales, accumulating pairs upon pairs of synthetic shoes that never quite felt right. Now, I'd rather have 3 pairs of well-made leather shoes that last for years than a dozen pairs that fall apart after a season. The makeup industry is perhaps one of the most clever at exploiting our tendencies for overconsumption. How many nearly identical eyeshadow palettes do we really need? And let's talk about luxury makeup brands for a moment. We've been conditioned to believe that the higher price tag equals better quality. But is that $60 powder really transforming your life and your skin, or is it transforming your bank account? What about skincare? Social media has convinced us we need 15 steps skincare routines and cabinets full of products. But here's what I learned the hard way. No amount of expensive serums or creams could fix what stress, poor diet, and lack of exercise were doing to my skin. Once I addressed these fundamental issues, my skin routines simplified dramatically. Now I use just few evidence-based products that actually work for my skin. And perfumes. Since discovering niche perfumes from France and Italy, I've realized how much more satisfying it is to have 1 or 2 unique high-quality fragrances that truly speaks to you, rather than a shelf full of mass-produced scents. The common thread here is intentionality. Whether it's clothes, jewelry, makeup, or skincare, when we buy with purpose, when we choose quality over quantity, when we select items that truly reflect who we are, that's when our purchases become investment in ourselves rather than quick fixes for our deeper issues. Now let's dive into something we don't talk about enough: the real impact of clutter on our spaces and on our psyche. It's not just about having too many things, it's about what those things do to us, how they affect our daily lives and our ability to grow. When your wardrobe is stuffed with items you never wear, it creates a peculiar kind of anxiety. Every morning you open those doors and face a wall of decisions you've been avoiding, choices you've postponed, memories you've been holding onto. Your space is technically full, but it's full of the wrong things. It's like having a library filled with books you never read. The presence of abundance actually masks a kind of scarcity. Think about the last time you said, "I have nothing to wear," while staring at a packed closet. We've all been there. That disconnect isn't just frustrating, it's symptomatic of a deeper issue. When we surround ourselves with things we don't use or love, we make it harder to see what we truly need or want. Every item you keep but don't use represents a decision you've postponed. Maybe it's an expensive dress you bought for an unimagined future self, or those jeans that might fit again someday. Each item carries with it a small burden of indecision, a tiny but persistent mental load. When we hold onto things that don't serve us, we're often holding onto outdated versions of ourselves, old dreams, or past identities. I've noticed in my own life how holding onto unnecessary items can act like an anchor, preventing me from moving forward. Those clothes from my early 20s, they are not just taking up physical space, they are holding me in a particular moment in time, making it harder to fully step into who I am now. The psychological weight of keeping things that don't serve us is real. Each unused item becomes a small reminder of a purchase we regret, money we spent, or the versions of ourselves we're still trying to let go of. It's like carrying around a backpack full of small guilts and shoulds. Clutter consumes energy in our lives. Every time you have to push past clothes you never wear to find something you love, every time you feel guilt about unused items, every time you reorganize things you don't need, that is the energy you could be using elsewhere. Think about the mental bandwidth consumed by maintaining things we don't use. It's like running background apps on your phone. They might not be active, but they still drain your battery. Each item requires a small piece of our attention, our care, our space. These things we keep but don't use anymore makes it harder to focus on what truly matters to us. And this clutter often keeps us in a cycle of consumption. When we can't clearly see what we have, we're more likely to buy duplicates. When our space is cluttered with things we don't love, we're more likely to seek the temporary high of new purchases rather than confronting why we're holding onto things that no longer serve us. But when we understand that our clutter is more than just physical stuff, that it's delayed decisions, postponed growth, and trapped energy, we can begin to make different choices. We can start to create space, not just in our closets, but in our lives, for what truly matters. We're trying to transform not just our wardrobe, but our entire relationships with style and self-expression. My own journey to authentic style began in an unexpected place. Through inner work, it wasn't about reading fashion magazines or following trends. It was about understanding myself better. When I was trapped in a corporate world, style was the last thing on my mind. Like many of us, I was trying to survive, throwing on whatever was appropriate and comfortable enough to get through another demanding day. When we're emotionally drained and stressed, we lose connection not just with our style, but with a fundamental form of self-expression. The shift came gradually. As I started working on my mindset and healing old traumas, I began to realize that the dopamine hit from shopping was a poor substitute for genuine happiness. Through practicing gratitude, I started focusing on what I had rather than what I lacked. It was liberating to be honest with myself about what I could and couldn't afford, rather than trying to shop my way to worthiness. Finding your style is incredibly intuitive. When you're aligned with yourself, you don't need to rationalize purchases or convince yourself something fits. It's like a gut feeling. You know instantly when something is right for you. Just like making major life decisions, your intuition often knows before your logical mind does. So how do you identify your authentic style in a world of endless trends? Start with the basics. Understand your body type and the colors that make you feel alive. But go deeper. What materials feel good against your skin? What shapes make you stand taller? What pieces make you feel like yourself? The key is to build a foundation of timeless pieces while leaving room for personal expression. Trends will come and go, but your authentic style is timeless because it's uniquely yours. I personally love asymmetrical pieces with dramatic sleeves and unexpected prints. Sometimes I hold myself back from wearing them, worried about being too much. But I'm learning that embracing these choices, even when they feel bold or unconventional, is an act of courage. It's about saying, this is me and I'm not going to dim my light to make others comfortable. Your style isn't just about clothes, it's about how you carry yourself in the world. When you wear something that truly reflects who you are, it changes your energy, your confidence, the way you move through space. Think about how different you feel in an outfit you love versus one you're wearing just because it's practical or expected. As Yves Saint Laurent once said, fashion fades, style is eternal. Breaking free from rigid fashion rules doesn't mean abandoning all guidelines. It means understanding them well enough to know when and how to break them intentionally. Mix patterns that aren't supposed to go together. Combine high and low pieces in unexpected ways. The key is doing it with intention and confidence. Your style can say things words can. It can express your creativity, your mood, your heritage, your aspirations. When you dress in alignment with who you truly are, you're honoring your authentic self. This journey is about gradually curating a collection of pieces that feels like you, that supports who you are becoming, that makes you feel confident and comfortable in your own skin. It's about making choices from a place of self-awareness rather than external pressure or emotional voids. And perhaps most importantly, it's about giving yourself permission to evolve. Your style can change as you change, grow as you grow. The goal isn't perfection, it's authenticity. I'm not a stylist or a fashion expert, but I still would like to share some concrete steps to discover and develop your authentic style. First, create a style mood board, but with a twist. Instead of just saving outfits you like, ask yourself why you're drawn to each piece. Is it a silhouette, the color, the way it makes you feel? This helps identify patterns in what truly speaks to you. Pay attention to your most worn pieces. The items you reach for repeatedly aren't just convenient, they are telling something about your authentic style preferences. What do these pieces have in common? Is it color, fabric, silhouette, versatility, or how they make you feel? Experiment with the rule of 3. Before buying any piece, make sure it can be styled at least 3 different ways with each item you already own and love. This ensures each new addition serves your style rather than sitting unworn. Try this exercise. Put on an outfit you feel amazing in. Now identify exactly what elements make you feel this way. Is it the fit, the texture of the fabric, the way the color brightens your complexion, how it allows you to move, the memories or feelings it evokes? Understanding these elements helps you replicate that feeling with future choices. Learn to dress for your current body, not for the one you're hoping to have someday. This means understanding your proportions and what silhouettes enhance them, which fabrics drape well on your frame, your comfort zones and where you can push them slightly, the colors that make your complexion come alive. Create a capsule wardrobe foundation with these essential elements. Classic pieces in neutral colors that serve as your base. Statement pieces that express your personality. Versatile items that can be dressed up or down. Signature accessories that become part of your style identity. Develop your signature style elements. Maybe it's always incorporating one unexpected color, adding a unique accessory to every outfit, playing with proportions in a specific way, having a signature piece type, like statement jackets or unique shoes. When adding new pieces, ask yourself, will I wear this at least 30 times? Does it feel a genuine gap in my wardrobe? Is the quality worth the investment? Does it feel like me, or am I trying to be someone else? Start small with self-expression. Choose one bold piece and pair it with basics. Experiment with new combinations at home first. Take photos of outfits you feel great in. Notice which outfits get you compliments or make you feel most confident. Finally, remember that developing your style is the process. Keep a journal of what works and what doesn't if you like. Document successful outfits for future references. Review your wardrobe seasonally. Allow your style to grow and evolve with you. The goal isn't to create a perfect wardrobe overnight, but to build a thoughtful collection that truly reflects who you are in this moment. Often style has very little to do with fashion. It's about staying true to yourself. Fashion is what being sold to us. Style is what we choose to say about ourselves. One of the most profound realizations came during my entrepreneurial journey. In the early days, I thought working from home meant the luxury of staying in my pajamas all day. What freedom, right? But I found myself feeling increasingly disconnected, unmotivated, feeling almost invisible. It was affecting not just my productivity, but my sense of self. Now, getting ready each morning is my non-negotiable act of self-care. Even if no one will see me that day, even if all my meetings are virtual, I dress intentionally, not for others, but as a daily reminder of my worth, my presence, my readiness to face whatever the day brings. It became a form of meditation, a moment to connect with myself before connecting with the world. Before I finish this episode, let me leave you with some actionable takeaways. First, start your healing journey with your wardrobe. Take 15 minutes tomorrow to identify just 3 items you're keeping out of guilt or just in case. Thank them for their service and let them go. Second, before your next purchase, ask yourself, am I buying this to feel something or to express something? The answer will tell you everything you need to know. Third, create a morning ritual around getting dressed, making it a moment of intentional self-care rather than a rushed obligation. Even if it's just 5 minutes, make them count. Remember, style is not about following trends, but about leading yourself back to who you truly are. Every time you choose an outfit that makes you feel powerful, every time you resist an impulse purchase, every time you dress for yourself rather than others, you're not just building a wardrobe, you're building self-trust. Style isn't just about what you wear, it's about how you show up for yourself every single day. It's about turning self-medication into self-celebration, and that is truly fashionable. Remember, dress for the person you are today, not for your past self, not for some imagined future self, and certainly not for the person others think you should be. Your authentic self right here, right now, is always in style. Until the next time, bye! Champagne glasses